Hello everyone, welcome to another Microsoft Access Maintenance Database tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how the Microsoft Access Database notification works. In this example, we're going to use 3 email addresses. One is a Yahoo email address, the other is a Gmail address, and the other is a company's address that is set up on Microsoft Outlook. In order for the Microsoft maintenance notification to be sent to the recipient, Microsoft Outlook has to be set up and active in the computer which the Microsoft Access Database is opened. In this example, we're going to set up a weekly preventive maintenance. So let's go ahead and set up a weekly preventive maintenance. When I click on this weekly, I already have 2 weekly PM due soon. So let's go ahead and set up another one, a third one. But before we do that, let's set up the equipment. Remember that the equipment is tied into the email addresses. For instance, if you have an equipment that you want to set up a maintenance for, and you don't have an email address tied into that equipment, then when you set it up, it's not going to set up an email to that to the recipient, a reminder. It's not going to send that email reminder because you didn't attach an email address to that equipment. Let me show you how to add an equipment. You can do that in 2 ways. You can either do that here, or you can do that on the main menu, where you could set it up here, or you could set it up here. Let's go ahead and set it up here. So right now, let's take for instance that we want to set up an oil change for a Haas machine. Now this, I'm just trying to use this for an example. Haas, and just set up a serial number 123, and then let's set up an email address. The first is a Yahoo email address. And they're separated by a semicolon. And the other one is a company's email address that is set up on Microsoft Outlook. So that's, let me just make sure everything is correct. Just a little error there. Okay, so now we've set up an equipment, and we tied the equipment to an email address. So whenever we're sending an email to that, whenever we're setting up a maintenance, preventive maintenance, and we set up with that equipment, it sends out an email address to those email address that is tied into that equipment. So we have one more step after this. So when we close, save and close. Once again, when you click save and close, it doesn't really matter, because if you X out the window right here, it does the same thing. It saves it and closes it. That's the good thing about Microsoft Access, is it does the same thing. But the reason why I have this right here is just for functionality and user friendliness. So let me save and close. And after that's complete, I want to populate PM list. So what does that mean? Populating PM list means you want to add a function to that equipment. You want to tie a function to that equipment. So when I click populate PM list, I go click here, and then I see the house that I added, and then let's just say change oil. And after I'm done, I exit out, which automatically saves it. Let me exit out this form, close the form, and then now I want to schedule a weekly maintenance because I've set up the equipment and I've set up the function, which is the populate PM list. Now I just use populate PM list because I couldn't figure out another best name for it. But that's the meaning. Basically, it's just the function of that equipment. That's all it means. So when I click preventive maintenance to set up a weekly, I already have 2 that is due and they haven't fall off the reminder yet because I haven't clicked complete. If I click complete for this one and I click complete, let's go up, click complete for this one, and I save and close. When I save and close, these reminders are going to fall off because yeah, you see that? The reminder falls off because I'm telling the system that I've completed those tasks, and there's no need for it to keep reminding it to me. However, it stays on this screen for until the date expires. So when the date expires, it falls off the screen. So let me go ahead and go to the next screen to set up a email reminder for the maintenance for the house. So go to the PM description, change oil, and I don't want to fill up all this because I'm just using this for a quick example. I don't want this video to go too long. That's why I didn't add the parts and the hours and all that information. So let me go ahead and set up the notification date. So what this does is it's asking me when was the last time that I performed that task. What that does is from the date that I gives it uses it to calculate the next PM. So today's date is the 3rd of December. But because of a tutorial purpose, I want to move the date to the 29th of November because I want the email to be sent out. Remember that the email is sent out 3 days before the PM is due. So let me put in the 29th, and it automatically calculates the PM as being due on the 6th. Now, if I move that date to the 28th, it recalibrates it to the 5th. Okay? So now it's going to send me an email because today's date is the 3rd and the PM is due on the 5th, which is 2 days. So it's going to send me an email that the PM is due in 3 days. So after I'm done with that, I save and close. Now, when I close this form and open it back, it's going to show me that I have 1 PM due. So, see, now it's telling me you have 1 weekly PM due soon, which is that PM. So now it's supposed to send an email to those 3 people that I listed that is attached to that equipment. So now when I go into my Yahoo email, notice that I have a new email that says, and the email is sent from my Outlook. So it sends an email saying the task number 3 A weekly preventive maintenance HOS is due, and this is an auto-generated from the maintenance database. Please do not reply. So and the email is sent to all these three. Now let me go to my Gmail and notice that it's sent the same email as well. So you can have up to 10 people in the company that this email is sent to, and this email is attached to that equipment. Now, something that we'll notice is that this email is only sent once, because once the email is sent, the database automatically records that information, records the date when the email is sent. And it does that because we don't want to repeatedly send that same email when somebody else closes it. So let me show you, let me access the table that records the date when that email is sent. So you can access that table by going to File, and that table has the raw data that is being recorded. Go to File, go to Current Database, and then you go to Display Navigation Pane. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this at all. I'm just trying to give you a little bit more information in case you're trying to understand how the database works. So for that, it wants me to close and reopen this database, so that way the navigation pane will show up on the side, and then I have access to the records. That's if you want to have access to the table, the raw table of all this information. Mind you, all this is just a user-friendly interface, but if you want to access the records, then you have to go into the navigation. And just be careful, because you don't want to keep changing the information there. That's why the navigation table is hidden. Once you open the navigation table, you can change things that will that could basically make the database non-functional. And if you delete a column, for instance, if you delete a column, it will affect the database. So things like that is the reason why it is hidden. So you click OK, and then close. So now when I open the database, you can see that the navigation that has the columns, the query, the forms. Now you can actually do some damage if you don't know what you're doing. So let's go to the table weekly, where we store all the information that is collected from for the table for the weekly maintenance. So search for here, if you look at all the information, this is the table where all the information is collected. You see that this is when the email is sent, it records the date the email is sent, and that prevents it from sending that same email over and over again. So we can close this navigation by going to File, Option, and Current Database, and then we check this box and we click OK. Close this and reopen it. Open it back up. You see that the navigation disappears. So that's all for the email notification and how it works. If you have more questions, just put a comment down below. And thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video. You have a good day.